This is a live trade made during one of our mentoring sessions on the 26th of August. We do this all day, every trading day, to consistently make over 100 pips during the London and New York sessions. If you're interested in joining us and learning how to do the same, just send me an email at the address below. Folks, those of you who've been trading with me for a while know that we are in an incredibly bullish phase of the markets with regard to the euro US dollar. Overnight, in fact, early this morning, in the middle of the Asian session, we saw what we have been waiting for some time. I wish I had been awake at the time, but anyway, it's nice to see that at long last we are seeing the move that we've been expecting. Just to recap, as to why we've seen things as looking very bullish over the last while. Looking at the 4-hour chart on the euro US dollar, let me just expand this slightly. We've had a significant downtrend that started on the 6th of August, and now we're 20 days later, looking at the end of this correction. The market obviously dropped significantly before that. The euro went all the way down to 119. The After that it came back up, and now we've been looking at this downtrend, which is, we weren't quite sure whether it was an interim correction or excuse me, or whether it was a reestablishment of the bearish trend on the euro. Now, the market obviously follows the channel as it comes down in its particular trend, and what we look for are indications that the trend is coming to an end. Those of you who trade with me know that I base all my trading on signals that a trend is coming to an end on whatever time frame we are trading. The nice thing about the current trade is that we have seen a very bullish signals coming out of the euro US dollar pair. As we were discussing earlier in the week, we've seen huge divergence on the 4-hour chart. Particularly going back to the 11th of August, we've seen this this divergent pattern setting up on the CCI. Then, in a small part of the 4-hour chart, if you just look at this area over here on the price action, we had a low, a slight bounce up, and then a lower low, while the CCI made a higher low at the same time. Clearly on the 4-hour chart, that's already a bullish signal. As you can see, price did in fact not go lower than that point, but if we're looking for a finer entry and a safer entry, we effectively need to wait for a break of the longer term trend line, which is exactly what happened about 5 hours ago during the Asian session. Drilling down now to the 1-hour chart, you can see a little bit more clearly that we've had this move upwards, where effectively, if the downtrend was going to reestablish itself, this trend line over here would hold true. Yesterday it did hold true at this point, but last night it didn't. So effectively, what we're looking for now as a very safe entry is a retracement back to this line while continuing to get divergence on the lower time frames. Now, those of you who trade with me know that I like to enter the market in a staggered fashion. I don't wait for a perfect setup, because often you don't get the perfect entry conditions and you end up missing out on a great move. So if we drill down to the 1-minute chart, you'll see that we had a divergence setup over here, where the CCI made a higher high while price action made a higher low, while price action made a lower low. Now, just if I just make it a little bit easier for you folks to see, down here you can see that long-term downward trend line that got broken during the night. I was hoping that the price would actually price action would make several steps down to that trend line in its retracement. The thing about retracements, though, as we know from experience, is they don't always retrace all the way back to the trend line, particularly if the move is quite strong. So I was a little bit late in getting into this one. I should have actually taken an anchor trade over here. I didn't. I wasn't actually at my computer at the time. But as soon as I saw what was happening, I did enter quite late. Normally, I would not enter in a situation like this at all. I would not risk as much as, yeah, this is basically 10 points. 10 points, as you guys who trade with me know, is a lot of risk for me. Not for most people, but for me it is. Um, so this is very unusual for me to actually take a late trade like this. As you can see, I'm actually a little bit annoyed that it didn't give me another chance. I was expecting the market to come down further and closer to this trend line. I was expecting this trade to go into a loss, and was quite happy for it to do so, because then I would be getting even better opportunities to enter the market with bigger positions at a better price. But the very reason that I enter the market with an initial trade is so that if something like, as you can see, what is happening now does happen, I actually am in the market, at least to a certain extent. Well, this trade is already 16.7 points into the green, so I'm going to just sit back and watch what happens, and I'll come back and let you know in 10 minutes or so. Right, 10 minutes into the trade, well, into the London session, and it is 10 minutes later. It's actually 18 minutes into the trade, and as you can see, it popped. As the London session opened, the guys took it way up. So clearly, our estimation of what the market was likely to do was spot on. Uh, I had my target based on my Wolf Wave target line over here, which you veterans who trade with me know exactly how to do. I closed out at the end of the candle that broke my target line for a neat 43 pip gain on 1/3 of my position. I still have 2/3 of the position running. You can see the trade over here. As I expect this to go significantly further. It doesn't have to. I have already made good money out of this baby. So if it does come down, in all likelihood I don't expect that to happen, but if it does come down and take me out at break even, then I'd be a little bit disappointed, but I've made good money on the trade as it is. And you can also see why I was prepared to take a 10 pip risk over here when normally I wouldn't go anywhere near a trade like that, is simply because the signals were so strong that this was a pretty predictable trade. High probability in every way. If anything changes on this, I will come back and add to the recording, but so far, so good. For the benefit of the recording, just wanted to point out that we actually closed down that previous trade on repeated failure at the previous high. Remember the first trade we made 43 points, the second trade we got out actually for 39. So an average of 41 across those for that entire position. Actually a little bit less than that, about 40 pips for the total position. But as you can see, this retracement has given us another opportunity to go long. The market has clearly turned into a bullish phase, so we were looking for another bullish entry. And once again, here are our criteria. We had an initial opportunity to get into the market. I almost got in here, but was simply waiting for a lower low on the previous one. It didn't come, so not an ideal scenario, but nevertheless the signal was clear. It was followed by a break in the trend line and a retrace to the trend line, while divergence continued to show on the indicator. So we entered at the close of this candle over here. Very clear, very simple. This is the way we trade. If anyone's interested in trading with me and the rest of my mentoring team, drop us an email and we can chat about it. Good luck to you in your trading. Hope to speak to you soon.